Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a reading for the end of September 2025. Try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 7 of Pentacles. This is continuing to devote your energy to something that hasn't yet borne any fruit. Okay? There's a lot of discipline with the 7 of Pentacles, right? It can be a failure. It can be a little f failure. It can be the idea that we've tried to do something and nothing came of it. We try to cultivate something, we try to grow something, and it didn't happen, okay? I think for some of you, this is really, this is about a kind of an honesty. Being able to look at something in our life and say, okay, I tried to do it, but it didn't work. Am I going to abandon the path? Or am I going to come back here and try it again? Am I going to keep doing it? Am I going to show up again? Yeah. So I think a lot of you are showing up in your life and thinking, okay, I got to just wake up, I got to put my shoes on, I've got to go back out there and I got to do it one more time. So this is kind of saying we got to get back up off the mat again. Yeah, we've gotten knocked down, we've gotten off balance. It's time to restore that balance. It's time to get up and keep moving. I think that you're somebody who very often, like, you don't know how to give up on things. And sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes that's a very, very good thing. Okay? Kind of not knowing when to quit. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context and let's see what's going on here. We got a 4 of Pentacles. Very nice. We have a Fool energy. We have a Queen of Wands. We have also an Art or Temperance card. Double Sagittarius energies here for you. We have a 3 of Pentacles. We have a 7 of Cups. Yeah, a 2 of Cups and a 5 of Wands and a 5 of Cups. So I think that what you're doing is going to bear fruit. I think it's important with the 3 of Cups is basically saying we just need to keep going. Don't give up when something isn't perfect, when something doesn't look like it's landed quite yet for you. Don't give up on it. If something is a little f failure, right, you need to show up again. And the 4 of Pentacles is that routine. Repeat it. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. But do so with some refinement. Obviously, you're not going to do the same thing that you did last time, right? You should be learning from each of these cycles, each of these repetitions. Okay, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with our little octopus friend, the 8 of Tentacles. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments. Let's take a look around the room. We see major and major. We see fire and fire. We see water, water, water. Don't see any air. We see a lot of earth energy here, okay? So the lack of air energy, lack of swords cards, might be saying that we need to start thinking creatively. That we can't just go back into what we've been doing in our life, whether this is at home, at work, at school, your career, your family, your friends, your creativity, your spiritual work, doesn't matter. You can't just go back into it and do the exact same thing again. Because you're probably going to get the exact same result. Okay? So the swords cards that we kind of need, I think, are being, in a way, represented by the Fool. The Fool's kind of in need of a sword. okay? To kind of say, look, I've got an idea now. I'm not just going to leave it up to chance. I'm not just going to go in and say, I'm just going to wing it. We need some sort of a plan. We need an idea of what I can do differently now. What did I learn from this Seven of Pentacles so that when I approach it again tomorrow and I try to climb up this mountain again tomorrow, did I learn the lesson of yesterday? And so I have some new thing to try. Okay? Basically what we see is you inside of a pressure cooker. This is you on the blacksmith's anvil. Something has been repeating in your life, a challenge, something that you're trying to get off the ground, something that you're trying to put together, you're trying to make it work, you're trying to succeed, you're trying to accomplish a goal or reach some sort of a destination. And there's been challenges. And each of those challenges should be giving you kind of an increase of skill, more knowledge, more experience, right? So that when we show up again, we're going to be a little bit transformed. Yesterday should transform you. That's why we have Sagittarius and Sagittarius both with these cards here. What you did yesterday should make you different today. And the Fool is coming back into this. The Fool is you, right? Coming back into this situation with a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more ingenuity, a little bit different than who you were yesterday. Okay. So the the Seven of Pentacles, some of you are needing to decide if you're going to show up again or if you're going to call it quits. If you're done and you're going to walk away, okay, fine. It's your call, right? If you're going to keep going, if you're going to sort of pick yourself up by your bootstraps and go back at it, and I think Spirit's telling you that you should. I think the cards are saying that, look, if you continue to do this and you learn your lesson every time and you refine yourself over and over again through this process, in this pressure cooker, things are going to work out in your favor. But with this card, it's that need to decide if you're going to continue to put in the effort or if you want to call it quits. Okay? The Four of Pentacles is a stable foundation. Okay, it could be this idea of let's go back to square one and let's make sure that we're building this thing, if it's a relationship, if it's a business, if it's your career, if it's literally something you're building, like with wood, putting it together. Make sure that the foundation is good. Make sure that it's built on something solid. Okay? Four of Pentacles is also about physical routines, habits. So, it's a good time, I think, going into the end of September, it's a good time for you to think about the way you habitually approach your life. The things that you tend to do every day. Are you someone that kind of habitually will get discouraged by a loss and then kind of give up on something? Are you somebody that has a habit of like getting fired up and coming back at it the next day even stronger, What is your tendency? What is it that you usually would do? In any given situation, how do you usually handle it? How do you usually respond to things? Okay. How discouraged do you get when things don't go exactly according to plan or go the way you expected them to? Okay. This is also a good period of time for a lot of us to focus on our physical health, to get back into some very good kind of healthy habits. This is kind of basic needs: water, shelter, food, fire. This is kind of considering those basic things and making sure that we have that as a support system, and make sure that we are taking care of those foundational needs. Okay. Under the surface, you have the Fool. And the Fool is kind of a blank slate, In a way, you're being told not to approach your life every day like, what is that? What is that one movie? 50 First Dates or something, isn't it? Or Memento or something like that, where every morning the person wakes up and their memory's just been wiped and they don't remember anything that happened. Let's not be that person, okay? So let's remember yesterday. What lessons did we learn from yesterday that we can take into today? I think that this is a time for kind of for approaching our habits and our routines and our tendencies with some fresh energy, with some kind of innovation. Okay, so it's not about blindly just going through the motions, but to be aware of what those motions are. Where did we learn those? Why are they still in place? Why do I brush my teeth with my left hand or something like this? To be able to look at that and to be aware of those habits and those routines that we have so that we can build upon them, so that we can decide, or is that still a good approach, or is there a better way to do it? How can I do a little bit better? How can I innovate a little bit more? I feel like a lot of you are looking at your life that way and thinking, I just don't want the same old routines. I'm looking for a way to make a little bit of improvement every day. To be able to look at your life and say, okay, it's working fine, but I can do a little bit something different. And I can bring a little bit of fresh air into this, into the work. Whether this is your spiritual work, relationships, friends, family, your career, whatever it is, your business, bring a little bit of fresh energy into it. Don't feel that you're stuck in just that Groundhog's Day kind of same old thing. It's just the same routine. How do we freshen it up? How do we bring in a little bit of new energy into something? Okay. I think a lot of you are feeling this kind of wanderlust. A lot of you want to get out of the routine of life and want to maybe travel or explore new ideas. A lot of you want to innovate. A lot of you want to just kind of figure out a new purpose and go do something new. Go travel somewhere you've never been. Go start a business that's just some of you want to just wipe the slate clean and start over. And I think that's okay. But as long as you're able to look at what you're doing and understand why that is it because there's frustration? Is it because there is kind of a resentment or kind of a sadness? Or is there, what's the motivation for wanting to wipe the slate clean? Are we doing it out of anger? The way someone might just kind of swipe everything off their desk and say, well, screw it, I'm just going to start over? Or are we coming at it from a place of really okay, I've learned this is not meant for me, and I should kind of go back to square one. I should go back to the proverbial drawing board. Okay? So for some of you, that's going to be the right answer. For some of you, it really is your soul is telling you, let's start fresh. Let's forget everything. Sometimes we need to say, okay, that didn't work. Let me erase the chalkboard and let me try again. Okay? But either way, we've still learned something from that past. Okay? So I feel like we're coming back to our life in this way of today's a new day. I can start clean. I can start fresh. I don't have to feel guilty or upset or bad about yesterday. I'm getting a new opportunity now. Okay? Knowing that you're a little bit wiser than you were yesterday. Okay, so it may feel like a reset or a refresh or a clean slate. Anyway, regardless of whether this is the same problem, the same endeavor, the same thing, or if you're saying I'm changing course, I'm going to go do something else altogether. I feel like either way there's that clean slate energy. Okay. The Queen of Wands in the background, this is somebody that sometimes doesn't learn from the past. Okay? Sometimes is just, gets tossed down on the mat and just springs right back up and is right back into the mix. Doesn't take enough time processing and ending in order to really learn anything. Okay? This is very energetic. This is very I'm eager to go forward type of energy. The Queens of the Tarot are all about how you process the past. And the Queen of Wands, their relationship with the past is almost non-existent. It's almost that she doesn't have a past. Okay? And I think what you're trying to do now is rather than cut yourself off from yesterday, I think right now at this time in your life, you're trying to be a little bit more deliberate and you're trying to ask yourself, okay, what did I learn from yesterday? How did yesterday transform me? How can I then take that energy and how could I transform this situation moving forward? So I feel like your relationship to the past is changing. Whether you're talking finances, career, job, creativity, or relationships. The Queen of Wands gets out of a relationship quick and just says, I forgot all about whatever their name was. What's next? Rather than just kind of, thinking about it, reflecting on it, okay? Having that deeper understanding, kind of trying to make sense. Okay, what happened? Where did I go wrong? What did I do yesterday that didn't work? And how can I do something differently? The Queen of Wands is like, the past is gone and I don't even think about it. So the relationship with your history seems like it hasn't been anyway, in the past anyway, it hasn't been very strong. So I think a lot of you at this time in your life, you're trying to make more of an effort to reflect on past experiences, to reflect on what happened yesterday, okay? Not in a way to like make yourself feel worse, like yesterday I, made some mistakes, or yesterday didn't go my way, yesterday I didn't get the win. Not to make ourselves feel bad about that, but what did that teach me? What did I learn from that? How does that make me stronger? So there's an importance here for you of staying connected with the past, not in the way that's going to limit you, but in a way that's going to empower you, okay? And that's part of our Temperance card, or the art card up top. I think that you've been preparing for something, the pressure cooker energy of the art card. It seems that you've been prepared, that you've been being tested and challenged in life. And I feel that the lesson here is that your past is very important. Okay, I think that you're learning. The Fool is learning the lesson of what's been happening in your life, and I think you're ready to move forward from it. There's a little bit of a sense of karma here. Okay, the Temperance card is saying that something's almost done, that something's been in the oven and it's just about ready to be taken out of the oven. That you've been in the pressure cooker and you're almost done now. The transformation is almost complete. Okay. And I think it really is like something from the past, or like that connection to the past, or your ability to sort of, to always be kind of growing and transforming yourself. It's like every time you go through a situation, or every day that passes, you're realizing that you're different than you were yesterday. You're different than you were a moment ago. And we're growing incrementally every single day, every moment, And so I think that a lot of you have been really put to the test lately. And I think that is about finishing up, okay? I feel like there is this trial period, this kind of probationary period for you, a period of trials and tribulations that's ending. It's like Spirit, the universe kind of has been preparing you for something, and now I think you're prepared. I think that you've learned what you were meant to learn. You've gone through enough of the scenarios, right, to kind of learn what you were meant to learn. The training kind of feels like it's over. And now the Three of Pentacles is Mars and Capricorn. We're actually getting the progress now. I feel like now things are working for you. You're out there doing it, and it's coming together. I think that this is going to be a really successful period, really productive period of time for you. I feel like right now you're experiencing this realization that the test is now finished. Okay, that your refinement, or this part of your transformation is over. And now you're kind of getting out there and you're getting to work, and you're going to see things start to progress. See, the Seven of Pentacles is when success has been blocked. I feel like the Three of Pentacles now is things are working. Things are not blocked. There's function here. There's movement, there's progress. I feel like something is going to now be picking up speed. I think something's snowballing. Okay. I think whatever it is that whatever work you're doing. Now, when I say work, I don't just mean what you're doing for money. I mean your life's work, your great work, your purpose. I mean whatever you're burning calories doing every day. Okay. I feel like you're getting some kind of recognition, or you're getting now the I don't know, I kind of feel like you're being certified for something, you know what I mean? Like you've been through the test and now you're getting the permission to do it kind of professionally or something, right? I think for a lot of you, this is going to be this is going to feel like an acceleration. Like the things that you've been trying to grow and cultivate in your life are going to start coming together a lot faster. Okay, I think a lot of you are going to get recognition for the work that you've been doing. It's like you've been pushing to get that black belt, you know, and it's been a long time, and it's just you haven't gotten it. I think now you're getting it. Now this is all that hard work is going to pay off. Okay, and what the success that you've been striving for is going to arrive. What you've been working on is working. Yeah, but we have a 7 of Cups as well. Okay, I think a lot of you are starting to feel a little bit rejected, you know, by this energy. By having that 7 of Pentacles, it's very easy to feel a 7 of Cups. We take it personally. When we try to do something and it doesn't work, we kind of feel shame or guilt or sadness. We feel like maybe this just isn't meant for me. You know, that we've been trying to find the oasis and all we've been getting was swamp. So I feel that part of this lesson is like, how do you push through these feelings? How do you stay motivated even when you're feeling kind of rejected by your path, or like you're feeling maybe like you're not good enough for what you're doing, but you are, you know, and you've persevered. And I think it's through that perseverance, through that innovation, through that kind of waking up every morning and say, okay, today's a new day, and I'm going to learn from yesterday, but today's a kind of a new opportunity. And what can I bring to the table today that's going to be a little bit different or better, or just maybe just different than yesterday? Okay? You've been maintaining your confidence and your perseverance even through the swamp. Okay, some of you, this may be translating as like you've been feeling stuck. You're getting unstuck now. Okay, and when you're stuck, it's very easy to want to just say, I give up, I quit. And the fool just goes home, you know. But whether you are coming at this from a really just completely different approach, or you're trying to just start every day fresh, you're coming back to your life every single day. Okay, so this swamp, this mud, this feeling of being stuck is a temporary feeling. But you're very committed to it, to where you're picking yourself up and you're coming back to the table day after day. Okay? And I think that it's working. It's going to pay off for you. This card is also an interesting card to me because sometimes the 7 of Cups masquerades as something that's very beautiful and very nice and very hopeful. I feel like some of you are kind of seeing through something now. Like it may be that in all of your efforts, you've been tempted by some sort of parting gifts, you know, some lesser rewards. You've been tempted by some kind of like a second tier, lower hanging fruit, let's say. Sometimes that's what this is, the low hanging fruit, right? There's a reason why it's still there. Nobody wants it, yeah. So I kind of think that you've had the opportunity to accept something less in your life, but you chose not to, because I think you realized that you wouldn't be satisfied with that. So to me, this feels like a rejection of something that's like less than what you wanted. So it's the card's way of telling you, don't settle for anything, whether this is in love and romance, whether it's in career, whatever your goals are in life, whatever your wishes are, whatever your dreams are. Don't settle, because you're not going to be happy if you settle, okay? Now, the 2 of Cups, a lot of love coming in, a lot of refreshment, a lot of reward, a lot of accolades, I think a lot of recognition. The 2 of Cups, for if you're looking for love, for those of you that are interested in romance here, that's it, okay? Especially in this position of your relationships. It's basically saying that, you know, true love is on its way to you. Okay, and maybe this is the thing. Maybe this is like, you know, a 7 of Pentacles relationships, failed relationships. Okay, and it's kind of like, you know, we try to cultivate something with another person, and it doesn't seem to grow past a certain point. Okay, well, yeah, that makes us feel a certain way. But you know what? The Fool is coming back and saying, I got to keep trying. I'm not going to give up on what I want. I got to take another leap of faith. I got to take another risk. I got to plunge back in, and I got to try again. Okay? And I think all the while realizing that you are growing and developing, and you're transforming as a person. And so all of these failed, let's say this is romance, let's say all these failed relationships, they were just there to refine you into who you need to become so that you can receive the perfect relationship, the true love soulmate relationship. You see what I mean? All these other relationships were just training. And maybe if this is the job, these are the, whatever these endeavors are, if this is something financial or these are investments or these are skills you're trying to learn, it doesn't really matter. The energy is the same. These were all trainings so that you can become who you need to become, so that you can handle the success, so that you can be ready, preparing you for what is really meant for you. Just so long as you don't accept the low-hanging fruit, of course, right? So if you're looking for love, true love, yes, you are ready for it now. You weren't ready for it before, but you are now. This is also that kind of, that sort of reward for this hard work, okay? This is the bliss and the pleasure of the achievement. Okay, this is now a situation or a relationship or something, right, that is giving you in proportion to what you've given it or them, right? So if this is your skill that you're learning or this is your job, you've been putting in all this work and it hasn't been bearing fruit, finally now it's going to start reciprocating. You know what I mean? Finally, it's going to start giving back to you, which I think is going to be all of the reward that is going to make this a very positive card. You didn't take the low-hanging fruit. You held out for the real fruit that you really wanted. Okay? Because right now it seems very one-sided. It feels like you've been giving, giving, giving. You've been doing a lot of work. You've been trying, and it hasn't been working out. You've been planting seeds, and you've been tending the garden, but it hasn't yet given you any strawberries. But you've kept doing it. You went there again next season. I'm going to try again, plant more strawberry seeds or whatever. You kept doing it. Rather than just saying, well, I'm just going to go plant something easier to plant, something that's going to really, tomatoes or something, right? That is easier. No, you held out for the strawberries, for the real fruit that you wanted. And now the situation is paying you back. So now it's a two-way street. Now the effort you put in, the energy's coming right back to you. So there's reciprocation here. Reciprocity, yeah. This is very good. The Five of Wands is in the position of your fear, worry, and concern. You're ready for the difficult time to be over. I feel like you're getting close to kind of saying, like, there's not much fight left, so something better happen. And I think that's what this card is here for, is saying, look, the fight, you don't want the fight anymore. You're not looking for struggle, for challenge. You've done that. You've proven yourself. Okay, now you should experience the ease. Now you deserve ease and flow and harmony. Okay. We have a 4 plus a 2, we get that 6, right? You're not looking for the fight anymore. You're not here to kind of struggle and argue and wrestle with things. No, you've done that. You've already paid your dues. You've already fought hard. Now it's a time for you to reap the rewards and to enjoy the fruit. Okay, it's kind of like when you've graduated now, and you're just the one that's you're the one that's gonna sample the strawberries. You don't have to be out there digging the holes anymore. Okay, you've done that, and maybe this is a kind of a promotional energy where it's like now you've earned that position where you don't have to be like out in the field doing the work anymore. You don't have to be like breaking your back, digging the holes. I feel that it's kind of it's a leveling up. In a certain sense, for some of you, okay, that's going to be, you start a company, you got to work in the warehouse, you got to pay your dues doing just the hard stuff. Eventually, you're going to prove yourself, and they're going to offer you a position where you get an air-conditioned office, right? Something like that, yeah. And I think that you've earned that. You're not looking to go back down to all the hardship any longer. The 5 of Cups is very interesting as well, right? Because this is A very important lesson. And I think it has to do with our seven of cups as well, because the Five of Cups sometimes is a card of disappointment. So sometimes it's a card that's saying something should be there, but it's not. And of course that means disappointment, right? But it's asking you, how does that disappointment motivate you? Does that disappointment lead to despair and sort of giving up and maybe accepting some kind of lesser fruit, right? Or does that disappointment motivate you? Because I think that's probably why we have both of these fives together, because the disappointment can motivate you to fight for what you want. It'll fire you up. Or if it goes down here, then it can really demotivate you, and it can just say, well, I quit, I give up, I'm not going to try anymore. Okay? To the victor go the spoils, right? So the more you were willing to fight for what you wanted, that was the real test. The real test was how you handle rejection, how you handle disappointment, how you handle, those emotions, and how you're able to sublimate those and turn them into gas rather than to just kind of drown in those feelings and then end up walking away. Well, somebody else is going to come in and get your fruit. Okay. I think a lot of you, especially with the Five of Cups, it's going to be tears of joy here, I think. It's going to be a realization that, like, every emotion that you've had to sort of swallow in order to, like, stay strong and go back to work and keep trying, like, now that everything is going to work out and you're getting that fruit, I feel like all the feelings that you've been bottling up are going to come to the surface. So get ready for kind of a cathartic experience, for a release of a lot of emotions. And when we're talking about the Queen of Wands and the connection to the past, I think allowing yourself to learn from the past and to have that connection with your history is allowing you to kind of purge a lot of emotional residue that's been accumulating. Okay, let's look at the mystery card over here. I want this to be some fruit. I want it to be the Empress. We might get some cups. I think a 6 of cups, 9, 10 of cups would be great. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. 7 of cups. See the low-hanging fruit. See, the 7 of cups very often masquerades as something very nice and shiny, very distracting, very glittering, and thinking, ooh, that must be gold, right? Well, no, because we see what's really there. Not all that glitters is gold, right? So the low-hanging fruit, those things that are kind of tempting you, that's saying, yeah, that's too hard over there. Look at all this you could have over here, This is way easier, and it's right here for you. And you're saying, no, I see that for what it is. I see what it really is. I can see through that. And I'm not going to settle for that. I'm going to keep working hard. I'm going to get what I really want. And I'm not going to settle for less. Because I think you know that you won't be happy with less. That this may be very gratifying in the short term, but ultimately there's no substance there. And you're still going to feel just as stuck. This is kind of like, I'm stuck, and so I'm just going to self-medicate so I don't have to worry about being stuck for a little while, but the problem's still there, And so I think that's kind of a part of the lesson here that you've been learning. But I think that all the good stuff is coming to you. I think you've earned it. And I think that you're ready to receive it. Yeah, 'cause you've certainly worked for it. And now we're going to work for an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram, we'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner here. There's a link in the video description. New readings for Pisces on Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.